Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to What Would You Miss? Today, I have on somebody that I've known for a really long time, and she's grown into such an amazing woman, and I'm so proud of her. And I can't wait to start the conversation. Kara, welcome to What Would You Miss?
Thank you.
I do think our little story is funny about how I was doing a news interview and you had a What Would You Miss sticker on your computer and you ended up
Yeah.
being in the news interview and you did such a good job. And we have known each other for a really long time, and I've watched you grow from this quiet little girl who used to hide behind her mother's leg to this woman who is speaking out in public and on social media about your struggles and things you've gone through, and I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Kara. I'm 18. I'm a senior at Fayetteville Manlius High School. And so I'm aspiring, I want to be a psychiatric nurse practitioner one day.
It's a
And
mouthful.
but that's the goal. And I think that while I'm on here today to talk about, I've struggled with depression and anxiety, and that's kind of stemmed from anorexia, but it's like definitely been a thing for most of my life, but it shaped me into like who I am now and what I want to do. So that's like why I say that's why I want to do that. I want to like help other people. So.
Yeah, you are really helping other people. I've watched you speak out so strongly about eating disorders, which I think is really, really important. It's something that, again, a subject we just don't want to talk about. And so
Yeah.
many young girls and men, boys, everyone in between are really struggling with this. How do you feel now that you are out with it and you are very vocal about it?
I mean, it's still hard. Like even people still don't get it. Like feel like I've talked about it in person with my friends. Like I've posted about it. I try to explain it, but it's something that's just like so hard. I feel like there's so many misconceptions and it's so hard to really like it's still really hard to talk
What's a
about. And
misconception? Tell me one
I
misconception.
feel like you hear like anorexia and like you picture like or even just hear eating disorder and you typically picture like a teenage girl who's like stick thin and like maybe out with her friends at a restaurant like having a good time and just like eating a salad
Right.
or going to the gym. But in reality, there's many different kinds of eating disorders. I struggle with anorexia, but there's bulimia there's just so there's like EDNOS.
Right. Well, I'm an emotional
Yeah.
eater, which is also part of an eating disorder. And I can remember being younger than you, and I wasn't throwing up, but I was stuffing my face full of food to try to solve my problems and my emotions. And it obviously wasn't the best way of going about my life, but it affects my food. I mean, I can tell you that there's times that I thought, oh, if I'm standing up, it doesn't count, so I can eat this. And you really can't. Like, eating becomes habitual, and you need to make it part of your life where you can say this is nurturing your body. It's not, providing
Yeah.
emotional support, either good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it just got to a point where it was like, it was how I coped. And I feel like another misconception is that anorexia, or eating disorders, but for me, anorexia is it's just about the food. It's just about your body. It's about looking a certain way. But in reality, it's not about any of those things. Like, for me, it stemmed from, I've been very hard on myself. So I wanted to feel like, I mean, I'm still like exploring what the root of it
Of
is, but I
course.
think that it's for me. I wanted to feel loved, and I wanted to like be who I thought I should be, and who society has this like image of like beautiful, and like I was like I want to be that. Like maybe I will feel beautiful if I look like that. And then it started out just like restricting my food intake a little bit, and then it got like it was like wow, like I kind of feel like I can't control a lot of things in my life, and like I can really control my food intake. I can control my body. So then it just like got out of control, and it was to the point where it's not just about food. Like it was all I thought about was food, but it affected like I wouldn't go out with my friends because maybe there's be food there. I like was so low energy, I just wanted to be in my bed. So like it came with depression, and it's just like it's so much more than just like I want to
Right.
be thin.
No, absolutely. And the control thing is really, you really hit the nail on the head
Yeah.
with that, because it is about control. You can control that. Depression, you can't always control that. You know,
Yeah.
that's something that spirals out. And I know that you've been dealing with some depression throughout your
Yeah,
life.
I have.
Your depression looked different than my depression.
Yeah.
You were more reclused and in your
Mm-hmm.
room type idea. How are you dealing with that now? Are you talking about it more with your family and your friends, and not letting yourself get to that point? What are you doing?
That's the part that honestly, like, it's gotten so much better, but I don't talk about it as much because I feel like there's this, like, I don't know, I feel like people almost don't believe me. Like, I'm like, yeah, I've struggled with depression. It's like, but you're always so happy. Like, people always tell me, you're always so happy. Like, that's something I love about you. And it's like, well, thank you, but like, I also feel like I have to. I don't know. Like, I go, even when I was at my worst, like, just really miserable and struggling so much. Like, I went to school and I was just like bubbly and smiley, and like, that was my depression. And then
And
I'd
it was your
come
defense
home.
mechanism, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what depression looked like for me. Then I'd come home and I'd just like be in my room and everything took energy. But then, like, I wasn't, like, I feel like you say depression and you think of just like the person, like, they're wearing like all black clothing, listening to like music, but I listened to like
Angry music, and you don't listen to
I
angry
didn't listen
music.
to that, and I wore bright colors and I
Yeah.
still had depression.
Right. I know one thing, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but I
No,
know
not
one
at
thing
all.
that was hard for you was even going to school was a difficult
Yeah.
thing for you. And I think that's something that a lot of parents argue with their kids about. Like, go to school. I don't know what your problem is. You have to
Yeah.
go to school. What they don't realize is that school is what's giving them. And I'm not encouraging any kid to not go to school before I get hate
Yeah.
mail about that. But I think we need to look at why our child doesn't want to go to school. And
Yeah.
it really did give you anxiety to go to school.
So
Correct?
it just felt really toxic to me. Like, I
Yeah.
went to school, and it wasn't about, like, I think something that my parents didn't understand is they thought, well, Kara doesn't want to sit through math class, but it didn't have to do with the classes. It had to do with how I felt in the environment. Like, I felt very misunderstood. I felt really judged. I felt like I had to put on a face, and it just, like, took all my energy.
So when you saw the What Would You Miss project, what did you think about it?
I thought it was great. I mean, I actually didn't know that you, like, let it, so I just saw it and I was like, wow, like, it made me think. I was like,
So you liked it before you knew it was mine?
yeah, and
Oh,
then
I
I
like
liked it
that.
even better. Yeah, but and then it just made me think. Like, I heard the question, and like, sometimes there are so many things that I'd miss, but sometimes, I mean, I've never asked myself that. Like, I never have. It's never crossed my mind. Like, I feel like it's so easy to forget. But then, like, I read that and I was like, oh, like, I'd miss a lot of things.
What would you miss if you weren't here, Kara?
Yeah, well, I'd miss, like, something about my future is like I think that my passion is like helping other people, and because I've struggled in the ways that I have, like, I want to help other people that are going through similar things, and I think that my experiences have made it possible for me to help people in a way that someone who hasn't been through it could.
Right.
So I think that I would miss out on the opportunity to help other people. And then just like I love so many people. I love like everyone in my family and my friends. I'd miss like seeing them grow up. My little sister. I love to hike. I'd miss hiking. Like, I love to write. I love Freedom of Espresso, where
Yes, I know you love freedom.
I'm there,
Shout
like,
out to
every
Freedom of
day.
Espresso
Yeah.
because Kara loves it there.
I do. I'd miss coffee and Freedom of Espresso. So there's really so many things just in my
So many
everyday
people
life.
would miss coffee. I think that Starbucks should definitely back us because so many people miss coffee. Without a doubt, that comes up so much. There is
Just
something
little
about
things like that.
Yeah, there is something about that good cup of coffee though
Yeah.
that just makes you feel like, wow.
Warm
okay.
inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Warm inside and like powerful. It's coffee. It gives you strength. How do you think your family takes on what you are going through?
I think for the most part, they've been really great.
Don't worry, they're not going to watch this. They're totally going to watch it.
Yeah.
Has it been hard to come out to them and tell them everything that's been going on? And it's okay. I've talked to your mother about it. She don't care if you talk bad about her. Kidding.
I mean, someone in my family has struggled with similar things that I have. So I think that because of that, especially my parents think that they understand like exactly when in reality I think that even with the same illness, everyone just has such a different experience. So, like, that may be whatever was like for her, but for me, it's really different. And I've struggled with depression, which no one in my family has struggled with. So, like, there have been times where I just feel like it affects me physically. I feel like I can't move.
That is depression.
Yeah.
People do not understand that depression is a physical pain. You actually feel pain from it.
Everything just, like, I couldn't get out of bed. I literally didn't think I could roll over.
Right.
And, like, someone would come into my room and they'd be like, Kara, like, get down to bed. Like, maybe you'd feel better if you did something. Like, go on a walk, take a shower. And it's like, I just can't. Like,
yeah. You're absolutely right. It's a real physical pain, and that's honestly where a lot of self-harm and eating disorders strive from, because you're trying to feel that pain that is deep inside of you.
I hated, like, I really did. I just hated myself. And, like, I was just, like, another thing about my eating disorder is I was like, I don't deserve to have food. I don't want to, like, I don't want to be here. I just want, like, food's keeping me alive. What's the point? Like, I just want to, like, shrink away.
Yeah, they're all so intertwined with each other. Well,
yeah. And I wanted to look sick. Like, I wanted people to see how badly I was hurting. I thought maybe if I'm, like, stick thin, if my bones are coming out, if I just don't look good, maybe then people will see me and they'll be like, wow, like, something isn't right. But because I looked okay and I went to school and I smiled, like, I just felt so invalidated.
So what you said is really, really important, and I really hope everyone just heard it, because eating disorder is self-harm, in that you do want people to see how sick you are, because they can't see the inside part of depression. And there has been times, and I'm going to try to not cry right now, there's been times in my life that I've been in so much pain, and I've just been like, how can you not see this? How can you not see it? And they can't see it because it's so internal. And for you to be able to articulate that and understand that, your healing process is really, like, profound. You really have come a long way from that girl that I remember so many years ago who was struggling so hard. And I know that every day is still a struggle for you, but I can tell you that I am so immensely proud of you and in awe of you as the person you have become, because you're just incredible. And to think that you never thought that you were beautiful, like, stabs me in the heart, because you're gorgeous. I mean, you emit beauty. It's not just physical, it's internal. You just emit beauty. And I know that's really easy for someone to say, but when I look at you, that's all I can see. And I'm so freaking proud of you. I can't stress that enough, how proud I am of you for sharing this very difficult part of your life.
Thank you.
I didn't cry. I almost did, but I didn't cry. But I think, it's really important for people to understand depression, anxiety, severe mental illness is all a very painful process. It's very painful, and one that you can't see. And it
isolated me. Like, I felt so alone.
Yeah, and the isolation part is so funny, because it isolates us, yet we're not alone. We're all been, we're all going through something together.
Yeah, actually, once I posted about it on Instagram. I just said, I'm in recovery from anorexia and depression. And since then, actually, that was like 2 years ago, and I went back to treatment. So I was still really struggling, but it was a lot easier to refer to it as in the past tense. I wasn't ready to be like, I don't know. It was just easier. But so many people texted me and, like, direct messaged me on Instagram, like so many people. I struggle with this too. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, like, the statistics are like, I thought maybe, and
you didn't think it was happening in your neighborhood.
I didn't think so. And then just these people that I've known and would never have guessed are like, and I was just like, no way, like, I'm so not alone. And it was like a comforting feeling, but also just heartbreaking.
Well, one thing I think is really important to what you just said, you're in recovery.
Yeah.
Depression, anxiety, eating disorders, all of that, it's not something that is cured. You don't just go to rehab, go to recovery center, and you're out of it. This is something you live with and struggle with for your life. It is something you wake up every day and you're going to have to, push yourself through it. You don't get over it.
Yeah. And there's a statistic for people that have struggled with anorexia that says, like, a third of people who have it or were diagnosed, like, either die or just like live in it. A third, like, live in, like, this, like, kind of recovery, like, they can go about their life. And then the other third, like, can fully recover. And like I really want to be that third, but it's just like it's such hard work, and it's past the point of like I've had people like, but like I thought it's better now, like you went to treatment, like you're
Right.
eating, like you're not engaging in harmful behaviors, like you're at a healthy weight, like what's still. And it's like there's like, what do you think, why do you think I had to use food as a coping mechanism? Like that's what I'm like, now I have to find all my other coping mechanisms. Like I'm still feeling the same things, just like I have to cope in ways that are healthy.
Right.
So it's still,
Healthy alternatives.
yeah.
That's what we like to call them in
Yeah.
rehab.
Yeah.
What are your healthy alternatives? And it is hard to find those healthy
Yeah.
alternatives.
Yeah.
I think the other part is having support, and
Mm-hmm.
you're lucky enough that your family is very supportive. Your friends are supportive.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's struggling right now and feels as though they don't have anyone, there's always someone.
Mm-hmm.
The 741-741 number. You can text the National Eating Disorder Alliance.
Or Netta?
NETA.
Yeah.
They're a great resource to
Association,
use. There's resources out there with
Mhm.
people who will support you.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about opening up to a stranger. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
don't negate it. I love that you came and sat in the chair,
Thank you. Thank you
and
for
I am
having me in the
so
chair.
proud of you. The woman you've become is just incredible, and I can't wait to watch you become everything you're meant to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's someone sitting in your chair. I wonder why